You're welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. My name is Glory Elijah and this is Frankly Speaking with Glory. So guys, today we will be talking about reasons why Nigerians school abroad. Yes, or should we also say reasons why people school in top universities or expensive universities abroad. But I want to focus on why Nigerians study abroad. So guys, this topic is greatly inspired by a post I saw on social media yesterday. So this particular guy put out there on Instagram that there was a time he boarded a flight on a trip, and on that same flight he was sitting beside an Indian businessman, and also he was wearing his Cambridge jacket. So this Indian man sees him wearing the jacket and makes an introduction. How are you? Oh, you studied here? You went there? The guy said yes. So he was like, what did you study? When did you graduate? And the guy told him all those details, and automatically this businessman shakes his hand, and what else? He became the man's lawyer till today. So the guy was writing on the post that this is the reason why a lot of people pay a lot of money to go to expensive universities, because then get out because of the advantage, and according to him, these universities understand that they are not just an institution, an academic institution. They are now a brand, and they are very much aware that people would pay anything to be associated with them. So I looked at that post and I'm like, wow, what this guy said is nothing but the truth. I mean, there's no single lie in it. And it got me thinking as well that, wow, so this is exactly the reason why a lot of people would spend their last penny to even school abroad. I'm not talking about the most expensive universities abroad now. I'm talking about just schooling abroad. So I found myself working in organizations where we have different classes of people. Now we have those who studied in Nigerian universities, and we have those who studied in abroad universities. Guys, when I say abroad, Ghana is also abroad. So don't allow your mind to only think the US and the UK. Ghana is also abroad. Yes, so Cotonou is also abroad. Dubai is also abroad. Yes, because that's how they just think about it. So there was this place I worked in 2017, and when we first went for the interview, they interviewed everybody differently, separately, but we took the same aptitude test, and I think 9 of us came out successful. So when we're now negotiating salaries, they said they were going to pay me a certain amount, we're going to pay everybody different amounts, right? So we did not know what they were paying each other or anybody, each of us. So later on in the office, we started having conversations because they fired one person and then they fired another person. So there was this particular guy. The guy likes using wanna Ghana, but he's a typical Yoruba guy from a Muslim background, in fact, So this guy, he was always going on and on and on about how he did his masters in Dubai, he worked, he hustled before he got back to Nigeria. Things in Dubai were so expensive. The guy was always going on and on and on. And that was how one day, because this guy talked too much, he had a slip of tongue and said about how they were paying him like way higher than the rest of us. And guys, this thing was so true. There was no lie at all in it, guys. How much are they paying this guy? I can't tell you guys the figure, but let's say for instance they are paying us, for instance, let's say 100,000. They were paying this guy like 200,000, so they were paying him like double of what they were paying us. And why? Because one of us was bold enough to go and ask the HRO, though the HRO was upset, like, listen, it's part of your employee contract, you shouldn't spill how much you are paid or ask any other employee, blah blah blah. And then the HR was like, of course, this guy schooled in Dubai. Do you know how much they pay for Dubai school fees? Do you know how much they pay for universities over there in Dubai? This guy has invested in his education, so it's justified if we pay him more. I'm like, wow. The psyche, the mentality of a lot of employers is so terrible. How does that even justify you paying him? And look at the productivity of each staff. This guy doesn't do anything. We're literally giving a target every week. This guy had not met even one single target, whereas the rest of us were working our butts off to get the target done. So it was so disgusting. And guys, I'm sure I'm not the only one that has that kind of experience. I've known a lot of people that have had that experience. I mean, I've been in organizations, I've been in situations where they give more credence to those people who schooled abroad. Why? Oh, they are more exposed than people that are here. I'm like, hey, Jesus Christ, what the hell is going on? Like, guys, this is just a stark reality that a lot of people do not see. You know, some people will say that no, they are worth it, they deserve it. But guys, no. I mean, they make it seem like those people that schooled in their home countries, they make you feel like they are not skillful enough or they are not qualified enough. And the annoying part is, listen guys, I know that people that schooled abroad, they spent a lot of money, but guys, everybody spent money. Everybody spent money. They chose to go abroad, so it wasn't like anybody forced them or excommunicated them from Nigeria or from their home country and said, no, don't school here, you must go and school abroad, you know. So basically guys, these are just a few reasons that I listed out. So number one, I feel like Nigerians study abroad because of the class structure. Yeah, they don't want to be identified with those people that schooled in Bako universities in Nigeria. They don't want to be identified with those people that schooled in basic and regular universities in Nigeria. Of course guys, it's no news that some of the universities in Nigeria, you cannot even they are not even up to par at all. I'm not gonna lie on this one. Some of the universities in Nigeria, they are so useless. Yes, they are so useless. You see a university where before lecturer will come to class, it will take like 1 million years. You have to go and begging lecturer, and then when the lecturer comes to class, lecturer will come and bring handouts that has like 1,500 pages, and then you must buy. If you don't buy, that's money that you paid to buy handout is your aptitude test. It's so corrupt. A lot of Nigerian universities are so corrupt, and that is the reason why a lot of parents just feel like, listen, it will serve me better, it will serve my child better if I break my account and ensure that they get the best of the best education abroad. You know, Nigerian universities can be so corrupt. Some Nigerian universities, they can be so corrupt, they can be so useless. Some of them are literally a time waster. Yeah. And there's this particular nonsense that happens, like in the school I went to, like, guys, there was this particular department that the lecturers there said that they did not graduate with a first class or a second class upper. So no students can ever achieve those two grades. So the highest that a student can graduate with from that department or that faculty in general is, let's say, second class, just second class, normal second class. And guys, what kind of demonic mentality is this? You know, there are some universities where in Nigeria the lecturers literally terrorize the female students. Like, they frustrate these female students. Oh, if you don't come and pay your dues, if you don't come and sleep with me, then you're not going to graduate. You know, they hold on to results and stuff like that. So these are realities, you know. And then it tarnishes the image of the university. It questions the credibility of the grades that students graduate with from such universities. So these are things that parents put into consideration, and they just feel like, you know, let us send our kids abroad, let them go to better universities, and then let them come out with whatever grades, you know, and then come back to Nigeria and stand out, you know, amongst their peers, you know. So when people mention that, oh, they went to certain universities who already have that reputation of victimizing students before those students can graduate, automatically when you say that you went to those universities, the first thing people think in their heads is, so that means if you have a first class from that kind of university, you did not work on it with your own sweat. You literally probably slept with a lecturer, or you bribed the lecturer to have that grade, you know. So that stereotype is already existing over here, you know. So people would rather not associate themselves with such stereotypes, then they would rather just travel abroad and study so that they come out from a clean space. And the thing is, a lot of people, it's not like Nigerian universities are the worst around the world. Most universities around the world, they have their own negatives and their positives as well, but because of the way they've been able to control their brand image, they've been able to build their brand, you know, people don't really see the negatives that go on behind the scenes. So what they see is a beautiful shining armor for a university. That is what people literally see. So nobody is even asking questions, right? So for me, guys, I feel like it's just the class, the class, the stereotypes and stuff like that, that makes most Nigerians prefer to leave their home countries to study abroad. The second reason I feel that most Nigerians travel abroad to study is job opportunities. Guys, I just gave an example from the beginning of this video. When you study abroad as a Nigerian, and this is typically what's going on, most Nigerian people, they go abroad, they study, and when they come back, when there are job opportunities, you find out that 90% of the time employers go ahead to pick those ones that studied abroad, not because they are qualified or more skilled than other candidates that are applying for the jobs, but because they studied abroad. I don't understand if most companies have an archive for resumes that they collect on at every given time when they put out a job position there or a job opening, because most of the time their requirements is crazy. Their requirements are crazy. Sometimes they even mention that one of the major requirements, they mention a particular course that they are very much aware that most universities in Nigeria don't even have, and they know that those courses can only be taken in external, like abroad universities. So most of the time the requirement itself that they even put out for job openings, guys, it's ridiculous, completely ridiculous. So that's another reason. Those Nigerians that study abroad, they recognize this separation in the system. They recognize this bias when it comes to employers and employees, so they don't want to fall victim to going to university in Nigeria and then you stay at home for like 5 years before you now see your first job. Like, guys, it's a regular occurrence over here. It takes the grace of God for someone to go to university in Nigeria, to study in Nigeria, and then come out and get your first high-paying job. Why do you think we have a lot of people selling bags and shoes on Instagram? Why do you think we have a lot of people selling scarf? Why do you think we have a lot of people selling phones? People, like, it's crazy the amount of graduates that we have on social media these days, selling hand glove, selling face mask, selling shoes, selling clothes. Everybody is now a CEO of rubber. Everybody is now a CEO of slippers. Yeah, and you will not blame them. It's because they have now realized that, oh, it is better for me to go into a trade, become my own entrepreneur, than graduating from school and then I'm at home for like 5 years, and then when I get my first paying job, how much will they be paying me? 80,000 naira. Like, guys, it's so freaking ridiculous, and it's very, very discouraging. At the end of the day, you start asking yourself, why did I even go to university in the first place? I mean, there are people that did not go to university and they came out and they are doing fine. Me, I went to spend like 4 years in university, and guys, let me not lie to you, 4 years in university, in Nigeria, if case is not taken because of ASU strike, federal government laws, for a 4 years course in Nigeria, they're supposed to spend in school in Nigeria university, you can end up spending 8 years. Yes, my course, I was supposed to spend 3 years in university because I got into school through direct entry. I started from level 200. I was supposed to spend just 3 years in school. Guys, I spent 4 years because there was an 8 months ASU strike. So guys, it's really, really ridiculous, and that brings me to my next point. Most Nigerians prefer to travel abroad because of the fluctuation of the Nigerian university system. They go on to strike anyhow they like. When lecturers feel like they're being marginalized by the federal government, they are not being paid their salaries properly, they are not being paid their remunerations according to bargain, they just get upset and they go on strike. They don't care about the future of the Nigerian children. They don't care, guys. That's a fact. For them, I have children at home that I have to feed. Federal government has not paid my salary. There was even one stupid ASU strike that happened, guys, and what was the cause? Oh, government said they were going to pay us an extra 5%, or between 5%. Oh, they were going to pay us some certain amount of guys, I think it's furniture allowance or trip allowance or health allowance, something allowance, and they went on strike. So guys, can you imagine how frustrating it is for not just individuals but also for parents, who have a target that, oh, at a certain age my child is going to graduate, at a certain age my child should be working so that I can move on with my life. I mean, I did not come to this life to come and be parenting babying a child forever, so it's really frustrating. And I feel like that is the reason why most Nigerian families, they would not mind spending their last penny, their last kobo to sponsoring their children to study abroad, So that is the third reason, the inconsistency in the Nigerian university system, yeah, is one of those things that greatly frustrates the efforts of families, of individuals trying to better their lives. And another reason that I feel that most people would rather study abroad than in Nigerian universities is the fact that when you study abroad and you come back into Nigeria, you have this thing called pride. When I say pride, not negative pride now, but you have the choice, you have the chance to choose. You can literally decline any job, you can literally pick any job, because at that point in time you understand your self-worth. You understand that, oh, I spent a certain amount of money, dollars, pounds, euros, however amount or currency, I spent a whole lot, invested in my education. So when I come into the Nigerian job market, I cannot settle for less. I mean, guys, it's a fact. It is a fact. And another reason why a lot of people travel abroad from Nigeria to study abroad, guys, this one might sound very ridiculous, but guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, it sounds ridiculous, but it is a fact. When most Nigerians travel abroad to study, somebody might be abroad studying for 2 years, they come back with a very, very thick accent. I don't know sometimes if they are faking it or if they are very, very quick to catch the accent of another environment, So when they come back with a very, very mad ass accent. Trust me, Nigerian employees, they like people that have sweet mouths, that have accents. So the moment they come, you find out that job roles, people start, because the world is evolving, society is evolving, so people are looking to have in their organizations people that they can say, oh, they stand at par with people from the international community. So most employers, aside skill these days, they are looking for people that have that accent. Once they just hear that somebody is speaking through their nose or through their teeth, they will just through their nose a lot of the time, not through their teeth. They're just like, okay, oh, this one studied abroad, this one can stand at par with our counterparts abroad, blah blah blah, guys. And it's very ridiculous, because at that point in time you find that skill no longer comes into play for them. At that point in time, oh, this person is an abroad person. So you understand that class as well. This one still falls on that class. It just gives these people that advantage, that, okay, I think it's actually worth it, that if the Nigerian system does not favor me, I can basically get what I want from the abroad society. So guys, these are just a few points that I have to share. I'm sure that you guys have your own experiences and your own reasons to share. Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in tonight's video. Have an amazing day. Bye.